This podcast contains explicit content.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Hardly Focused.
I've been playing, for the first time ever, Yoshi's Island, despite Baby Mario just being goddamn annoying and not cute in the least. That is a fantastic game.
You are listening to Hardly Focused.
It still really does trigger PTSD.
Yeah, and you and I don't have kids either, so like we don't have to listen to the real...
I was going to say, I hear the real thing, and I'm able to tune that out now.
So you know what you do, Mike? It's simple. When you got your kid who's crying and screaming, just throw eggs at it.
Eggs that you've processed from random Shy Guys.
Yeah.
What do you think I've been doing?
Hear more at hardlyfocused.com.
For Hardly Focused, you can get us on hardlyfocused.com. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We are wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Hardly Focused. We're on YouTube. You can watch the video version of this podcast on our YouTube channel at hardlyfocused.com/YouTube. Our commander, quote unquote, in chief, Donald Trump, prefers to use Twitter as his platform for speaking his mind on anything, which is just, that's a horrible idea. And if Twitter could, the folks in charge of Twitter, you know they want to shut him down, and they can't because they know the backlash that will happen. In fact, I think someone accidentally disabled his profile for a couple of hours recently, and a big shitstorm came as a result of that. But the latest is earlier this week, with everything else that's going on in the world, a couple of Trump's tweets had fact check labels applied to them by Twitter, which sent Trump into a frenzy because, how dare anyone question the integrity and the proclamations of our president. So now there's a big to-do over that and free speech over social media and what will happen if the president continues to be fact-checked by his platform of choice. So out of that, we got an executive order that was put out by the White House on the 28th of May, a couple days ago again. A very long to do here, but it's called the Executive Order on Preventing Online Censorship, which is it's only because Trump posted something that had nothing to actually substantiate what it was he was saying. So basically, I don't even know if it was a red flag. It was like a yellow flag was attached to it saying, hey, just be wary of things like this. It's almost like Snopes, right? He got Snopesed.
Snopes is owned by Soros.
Yeah.
Is that like something that a moderator has to apply to the post, or is that something that's kind of like flagged automatically via bot?
I would say a little bit of both, based on comments that the CEO of Twitter, Jack Dorsey, made. It sounds like there is a bit of a manual process in there. I'm not too versed or educated on it, but I imagine someone actually has to go and manually apply something that says, either manually apply something that says, consider your sources before you read something like this, or it gets auto flagged and someone just goes and checks.
Flag it, and it's like brings it up to Twitter's attention, like, hey, maybe we should take a look at this.
Yeah, it's like a threshold, right? Or if a bot does the work, then someone from Twitter actually goes in and just ensures that it is appropriately applied.
Which, I mean, in Twitter's defense, is a 100% logical and reasonable thing to do, because so many people really just take what they see as headlines as fact, with no extra, no verification of where that kind of stuff is coming from.
Yep.
And now where it's coming from the literal president, I mean, that's just like, oof.
Especially,
ouch.
and on Twitter of all places too.
The funny part is, like, of all places, it's Twitter.
And it's because it's the president. It's because it's the president. Because he knows that what he posts is going to rile people up and cause controversy, and he doesn't want to be censored. He wants to be able to just say whatever and have it be fact and have it be his word and not be told anything else. So
that's why he and Zuckerberg used to get along.
Zuckerberg with that fantastic haircut.
Zuckerberg, that does not want to do anything that Dorsey does, apparently, doesn't want to have any fact checks on Facebook, which is why, unfortunately, he died after he was flossing his teeth with aborted fetal tissue. It's one of those things that, as soon as he finished his prostate exam with his imported English cucumbers, Zuckerberg unfortunately passed away. And if you want to verify that, you can, but it's not going to show up on Facebook. So it will show up on Twitter, though. It will be verified on Twitter if it's inaccurate.
Mike, you didn't seem too pleased with Zuckerberg on Facebook.
Oh, fuck that guy! Like, literally, it's the same. It's the same argument that it's about Twitter, except in Facebook you can have a fucking diatribe. Twitter, you got to do it in 18 tweets. But it's the same thing. Like, this misinformation, this is a platform that is not just for sharing pics of your grandkids. This is not MySpace sharing your top 8. People now share so much misinformation on Facebook where there has to be some sort of verification process. Like, hey, this is absolute bullshit. Just want to let you guys know. You can share it. I'm not going to stop you from sharing it. But what you're sharing is absolute horseshit. It's a fucking lie. Just let you know.
And that's like not even like new. I mean, like, Snowden literally like told the entire country that, and then had to flee for his life.
Yeah,
because he was like, dude, they're doing this, like, and it's not just the US, it's China, it's Russia, it's anybody that has like access to computer hackers. Like, they're making bots that literally just to send out misinformation on purpose.
They know the algorithms, and they know, okay, how can I work the algorithms to get this misinformation out there the quickest? Hey, I just made 1,000 bots, and 800 of them are going to get flagged and kicked. But you know what? Those 200 that make it through are going to spread this thing. It's going to get shared 500,000 times the next hour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for instance, you can literally sell a Reddit account that's old because it has more of a it has like more of like a grout to it. Like, it's not just some made up 1 day old account when you're posting information. In 2 days, my Reddit account's about to be 12 years old. That alone, I could sell for like $800. Not even kidding.
Only 800?
Not that I would, but it could.
So what you're saying is I should have made 1,000 Reddit accounts back in the day and just left them there.
Yeah, absolutely.
How'd you make your millions? I sold Reddit accounts.
Has your account been gilded at all?
No, because I don't really post links, and I don't post comments. Okay. I'm one of those wonderful lurkers, but boy, do I have an old account.
Yeah, I'd say if you got gilded, probably increase that to like 850, 900.
But that's not even that hard to do. I could make a secondary account, put some Reddit gold on it, and then gild myself.
Yeah.
It's such an easily gameable system, and people think that that's kind of like a verification of like, oh, this has got to be good content. It's got fucking a guild, it's got Reddit silver, it's got fucking those other weird ass icons I see on those things now. Like, yeah, it's all a sham, and it's all making Reddit cash monies.
That's also the highest I've ever gotten is just Reddit silver. I've never gotten gold before.
Very nice, but see, you care about it, and that's what matters.
I've gilded people. I've never been gilded myself.
I've downvoted people. I don't think I really upvote. I've really only downvoted everything that I hate. It might be 1 against a million, but man, I'm trying.
Yes, Mike?
Just the fact he's like, I don't upvote. Fuck him.
Nope. No upvotes from me.
So Facebook to some degree, Google and Twitter, they've basically all spoken out. They've had their comments against Trump's executive order. They're all basically saying that censoring social media platforms is not the right move to make. Mike, do you agree with that?
The problem is all the assholes that are like, oh, they're censoring my speech. And they're like, oh, because we're conservatives, blah blah blah. It's because the shit you share is a fucking lie. It's not because you're conservative. It's because the shit you share is a fucking lie. So censoring, not really. Content moderating, maybe. Maybe it's a different term. It's an alternative term for the same thing, but it's just trying to clean some shit out of the rafters. That's really what it is.
People too, they misuse the term
First
free
Amendment?
speech. Yeah, they misuse it.
This is a private business. It may be publicly traded, but it is a private fucking business. Free speech prevents the government from overreaching and preventing you from criticizing the government. But it doesn't prevent, like, if you walked into a building and said, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, I hate you all, blah, blah, blah. Like, sir, you need to leave. Oh, you're censoring my free speech. No, you're just being an asshole. Get the fuck out. We don't want you here.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing, you know?
Fro, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, for real, like, when I owned a Minecraft server, there were a couple of people I had to ban. If they had went around and said, oh, you're censoring my free speech, it's like, no, this is my fucking server, and I'm kicking you off because you're an asshole and you're making it less fun for others.
Yep.
Like, it's if you're in a private, like, organization's website, then you are bound to their rules. And if they decide that what you're saying is garbage, then, well, guess what? It's garbage. And Twitter's not even doing that bad. They're just putting those little flags, like was mentioned. Like, they're not saying you got to take down this post or we're gonna send the Gestapo to your house. They're saying, hey, this might not be factual.
And they're treading extra fucking lightly with fucking Chitoro over here, because there's fucking tweets that should be taken down according to their fucking 18 million page rules and addendums, and they're like, no, we're just gonna flag it, let you know we're flagging it, and keep it up just so that you know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Right. On Wikipedia, you get a citation needed if you don't have a proper source for it, and that's very, very much like a normal thing. So I can't imagine that, it's kind of good that Twitter sent this thing, although I still don't really think that Twitter is the best form of communication for these types of important discussions. But, it has become that, and, it is what it is.
Fro, to your point, too, this is why a lot of corporations, companies, services, they all have their, the terms of service, terms of use, which effectively, the fine print to some degree kind of cancels out the First Amendment, right? Like,
right.
While you're using the service, you agree to our rules.
And nobody reads those, by the way, so they're kind of doing themselves a disservice.
You agreed to sacrifice your firstborn child on the altar of Satan. Yes, whatever. I just want to be able to tweet this.
Obscure reference. So I'm watching Community right now. Slowly, but I'm watching it, and I just watched season 3 episode where to get his inheritance, Chevy Chase's character and the rest of the cast have to play through a old school video game that is run by Gus Fring from Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and Gus Fring's character ends up like getting to the final boss where he is told he could win the inheritance, and they actually show him, they show fine print on the screen, and they actually show him like slowly reading through all of the fine print, all awesome. Of it, which he then ultimately denies and declines. So do you think Twitter waited too long to start applying fact check labels to the president's tweets?
Oh my God, yes. They should have fucking done it like 2 years ago.
I mean, yes, but at the same time, that kind of thing does take a little bit of time to build up. And throwback, by the way, and what was that Tim Allen movie with Santa or whatever? What was that called?
The Santa Claus?
Yes, the Santa Claus. Dude, that whole movie's about the fine print that boy didn't read after he killed Santa.
That's true. That's very true. It's the Santa Claus in a contract, not the Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho.
His poor father inexplicably gains all this weight. It goes gray overnight.
Cannot shave his beard.
That kid was just a piece of shit. That's what he was.
True.
Do you think Twitter should continue fact checking the president's tweets?
1,000%
Yeah, I mean, everybody's tweets, really. I mean, if that's what they want to play, and I mean, as long as it's like, you know, you shouldn't just focus on the president. Not saying that he, you know, shouldn't be targeted, but target everybody. You know, if you're saying, you know, it's one thing to say, you know, my puppy's cute, you know, sure, you don't need a fact check for that, whatever, like let it pass. But like if this dude's saying like, oh, Russia's trying to get me, China's trying to get me, blah, 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 like, all right, well, citation needed.
Yeah.
I think back to it all.
I think the initial tweets too that were fact checked were about voter fraud for mail-in ballots.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he made some comment.
Actually uses in Florida.
Yeah. And like whatever he said too, he had like nothing to really back up his claims to really substantiate what it was he was saying. So that's when the labels got added.
And on top of that, I mean, I'm pretty sure since the 70s, that is literally the only way that soldiers, people who literally fight for our freedom, are allowed to vote. They all have to do mail-in ballots. So it's not exactly a new system by any means.
No, 4 states do it exclusively. There's 4 states that it's mail-in ballots 100%. And
didn't know that.
They don't have a problem. It's this boogeyman that somehow it's this huge issue, and yet we all. The problem is everybody is like, oh my, it's a huge issue. Oh my god, it's gonna kill America. All those people that are saying it are Republicans because they know, and somebody actually did say it out loud. The more people that vote, the less chance a Republican has of winning. Mm-hmm. And if everybody in America gets a ballot and mails it back in, Republicans aren't going to win.
Yeah,
simple.
Not to mention with the way things are going right now, with the pandemic and everything, and whatever the new normal might be. More states in the union now. I just learned moments ago that we have 4 states that do 100% mail-in ballots. Wouldn't be surprised if that number just increases over time.
Wasn't Texas just recent? So Texas just recently banned it, but they banned it via remote voting. The judges literally remotely voted to ban remote voting.
Yes, the big irony is they were all on fucking like Zoom, and they banned voting by mail because it's safe to go to the polls, and if they were all doing it remotely.
Jesus, I mean that's Texas, like.
Yeah.
It's true. They're their own little world down there.
The Republic of Texas. Yep.
New America. Bushville.
Just don't mention that Alaska's larger. They get really annoyed about that.
So the reason why I can't be at Jack on Twitter, Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey posted the following 2 tweets. He says, quote, fact checked. There's someone ultimately accountable for our actions as a company, and that's me. Please leave our employees out of this. We'll continue to point out incorrect or disputed information about elections globally, and we will admit and own any mistakes that we make. This does not make us a, quote, arbiter of truth. Our intention is to connect the dots of conflicting statements and show the information in dispute so people can judge for themselves. As an aside, that's exactly what the labels say too, the fact check labels. He says more transparency from us is critical so folks can clearly see why behind our actions. Do you guys think this is the correct approach?
I mean,
yes and no.
Yeah, I could say the exact same thing. You know, there's pluses and minuses to all of it.
Yes, it's good that it needs to get. There needs to be fact checking at this point because there's a lot of blatant misinformation and pure propaganda that's coming from. Joe 837542 is sharing this a million times, but ideally a little bit harder. Like, not for nothing, Trump's violated Twitter's use. I don't know how many times. If nothing else, removing the blue check mark, but kicking him off the goddamn platform. But we know that's not going to happen while he's president.
Right.
That's the same thing. If the rules, there are a special set of rules for a special set of people. If I was doing this shit that he was doing, I would have gotten ban-hammered a long time ago.
Yeah.
Years ago.
Do you think, do you agree, rather, that Twitter and other social media platforms should not be arbiters of truth?
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't think social media should exist.
So there's your answer for that one.
Fro is, very famously anti-social media. Like he's got the social media accounts, but you never see him ever logged into them.
Last online 6 months ago. All right. Okay, cool.
Oh, 6 months. More like 2 years.
I think the last time I went on Facebook was 6 years ago.
To change your relationship status.
Quite literally just to change my relationship status.
Yeah, I mean, I will say don't believe anything you see on social media unless it is coming from a reputable source. If it is just like what you said earlier about Wikipedia, something that you can back up, and it has to be a legitimate source. It can't be some fucking website that you have never heard about before that is echoing your bogus claims.
YTMB.com.
Echo chambers everywhere.
Yeah. And that's like, if I'm gonna even just post any bit of news, whether it's about something, going on in the world that everyone else is talking about, or something just like obscure, still gonna make sure there's something behind it that I can claim, or I'm just saying this is why I'm posting this. So I think having fact checking is good. Don't if you're going to start censoring people, that's going to be obviously a really big issue. Everyone, even those who are opposed to this executive order that's coming out, everyone's going to be pissed. You already got your IRL protests and riots happening right now. Well, then you'll have a digital version of it if you just start censoring everyone. But
and the thing about it too is at least with the fact checking thing, it's not necessarily censoring, because censoring means it's being removed, it's being taken down, it's being taken off of the public eye in some way, shape, or form. A little flag next to it saying, "Hey, just make sure that this is like really legit before you go off and taping your Molotovs and throwing them at buildings." Just make sure it's legit.
Yeah, you read my mind. I was going to say that exact same thing. Just like, hey, here's a post. Take it with a grain of salt. It might not be legitimate. And at that point, you're not censoring someone. You're just giving them a heads up that whatever they're saying, cite your sources. Hell, dude, and you fucking fail in college classes if you don't cite your sources. Like they
You fail in fucking high school classes if you don't cite your sources.
Yeah.
I failed a 5th grade book report because I didn't actually read the book on Colin Powell. I spent the entire book report calling him Colin Powell.
Oh. I remember that movie Shattered Glass about the journalist who just fabricated everything that he wrote.
God, that guy, yes.
And had nothing to back up any of his, nothing to back up any of his claims, and the investigations that were done were just so elementary. Like they had to put no effort into looking into if the company he was talking about was real, if the kid he was talking about was real, and then I think like the smoking gun was calling the hotel where this supposed like dinner took place, and the hotel's like, yeah, our restaurant, we don't do dinner service. So before social media, that was the ultimate fact check. So, all right, we'll leave it at that. Mike, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the time with your family and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Fro, good luck with your laundry.
Oh yes, it will be folded. You can fact check that all you want.
But will it be put away?
No.
There you go.
Actually, it probably will not.
I fold my laundry the second it comes out of the dryer because I don't want my shirts to be wrinkled, but then it just sits in a hamper for like 3 or 4 days before I actually get around to putting it away. Case in point, I've got towels in the dryer right now that have been there since Friday. So
towels are towels.
Maybe I'll put those away sometime this month. All right. We'll leave it at that. We will talk at you next time. Hopefully the world will not have gone to shit by then. See ya. Bye.
Well, that's it. My old friend Duke's Eve is standing by. We'll get some coffee. We'll get some matzo ball soup.
This podcast is Hardly Focused.
I love the San Antonio Spurs, by the way. If you're betting in the NBA this year, I think they're going to win it all.
Get Hardly Focused on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
So I guess there's nothing more to say but...